right, y'all, hi. Showing up. We hear this all the time. Showing up. Most important thing. And I agree. I'm pretty sure I agree. Why is it? Why is showing up the most important thing? It sounds obvious, but there's a reason why we hear sometimes when people like make a lot of change or good things happen to them. You ask them like, "How'd you do that? What happened?" And they just say, "I just kept showing up." In sports you hear this, in relationships you hear this, in blah blah blah, education, successes of different kinds. I just kept showing up. We just kept going. Why? And why is it so hard sometimes to show up? Well, I would say it is obvious, of course, that if you don't show up, most of the time nothing happens, right? Showing up is the prerequisite to doing stuff, to staying in the battle. You gotta show up. The opposite of showing up is going away, isolating, denying everything, going into your own little bubble. These sound not so productive. Showing up is staying with it, meeting your commitments to yourself or to others. You can show up for other people too, obviously. Just show up, just show your face. These days, it really means a lot because most of the time we're like, we're flaky, cancel stuff a lot of the times. Saying you're going to do something, I don't know if that even means all that much anymore. It used to. In some places it still does. But showing up really means something these days. You're like, yo, you showed up. You were there. But let's talk about showing up for yourself. Like, if you want to do things differently, maybe. That's doing something new or might be good. Why is it so hard to do that? Why is it so hard to keep doing it? Very related to starting a good habit. How do you do that? And what gets in the way? Like, I can't keep showing up for myself. I don't know what happens. I start doing something else. So even if you kind of have committed to doing something that's good, that's productive, that feels nice, it's hard to keep doing it. It's hard to keep showing up. Why? I would say because it always comes down to, in the freaking moment, what happens? Do you do the thing? Or you start doing something else that's much easier for you to do? Much easier. Do you go with what's new and hard and takes a little bit of presence, strength, determination? Or do you go with the thing that's really way, 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 way easier? I think it's important to see the challenge of it and not minimize it. This is incredibly hard. You could say it's the hardest thing that we, have to do. Instead of being run by, essentially, the automatic crap or habits, you could call it the past. Instead of all that massive force, momentum, we decide to go this way. Like saying, okay, bye. See ya. Momentum, raging river of stuff, driving me into the old path. I'm gonna go this way right now. It always comes down to right now, can you go this way? Rather than take the highway. We had a couples therapist years ago. She put it so beautifully. She said, in your brain, you got these paths, these pathways, obviously, and you have to make new ones. It's like you got a road or a nice path that you're walking on, and you have to go this way, hacking through the freaking jungle. But you know that is the way you want to go, not the one that you've been doing your whole life. This way. That's what it comes down to. Every moment, if you set aside a time where you're going to do something for yourself or for someone else, and you have to show up in that moment, at that time, you have to actually show up. And a lot of us, 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before, feel this. What's the feeling? It's like resistance. It's like almost like it can be anxiety, it can be almost nausea inducing. This resistance to doing something new or showing up at this thing. It's like, and in that moment, that's when you get out the machete or whatever, and you gotta like hack through a bunch of resistance basically to go a new path. And that's why so often we send that text and we're like, I can't make it, not feeling well, or whatever the excuse du jour is, whatever you want to say. Can't do it. Sorry, I just, whatever. And the other person will probably be just as relieved. That they don't have to do the friggin' thing. Showing up, man. So one example from my life, going to Alanon meetings. Oh my God. I mean, it was such a positive thing, clearly positive, and a place that I was like kind of ready to go. But sometimes you do not want to go to those meetings. You absolutely do not. It's just like therapy. It's like, why does therapy get canceled so often? Because when it comes down to it, you're like, I can't do this shit. I cannot, right now, talk about real stuff. I can't do this. This is too hard. I'm not doing it. I'm going to feel sick instead. I'm going to feel really tired. I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to drink. I'm going to watch some movies. I'm going to play some games. Anything. So in that very moment, you either go this way or you go this way. And you can kind of build that muscle. You can also trick yourself a little bit until it's clear that the activity becomes, positive, self-sustaining, basically. But especially at the beginning of doing something, you gotta get out that machete. It's hard, really hard. It's hard to show up. Like, sometimes we do minimize it. We're like, oh, it's just not hard. That shouldn't be hard. But that is the exact hard thing. You gotta be there enough. You gotta be present enough to choose the option to side with yourself and what you know is good for you. And that it can include showing up for other people. That is good for you because it strengthens your relationships. La-di-da, can have lots of good in it. You get responsibilities, you meet them, that feels good. Build trust in yourself. In any case, showing up. Epic. It's a great phrase though, showing up. Because most of the time, all you gotta do is show up. The rest takes care of itself. Once you show up, it's usually not that bad. The bad part is being afraid, nervous, shut down, running away from stuff. Once you show up, it's like you already did it. That's it. Thanks.